Okay, folks, let's do a quick experiment. I hope that it doesn't give any spoilers, though. Alright, this is Thanos. Oh, hey, there's a glove. What does this do? Wait. Oh. Oh, things are disappearing. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. What's going on? Oh. Oh no. Oh, look, it's dropping by half. Hey, whatever it takes, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite movies. And as promised, I'm gonna be doing a spoiler review of Avengers Endgame today. So let's go. So, as you have noticed, my thumbnail for this video is very similar to the thumbnail I used in the Infinity War video because I'm lazy. Anyway, let's talk about the movie. So I have a few things to correct. When I did the movie review, it was literally an hour after I watched it. I was really emotionally affected because of the movie. And on the day after, which is a Sunday, I can't stop thinking about the movie. And as I thought about the movie more, the more I realized that there are even more flaws that I didn't notice in the movie. So, maybe I'm gonna have to lower the score a little bit, but still, it doesn't mean that I don't enjoy it. I still enjoy the movie a lot. In fact, I think it's great. I still prefer it over Infinity War. Anyway, I think part of the reason why this movie gets a lot of mixed reviews is because there had been too much hype built around it. I have seen a lot of YouTube reviews reviewing this movie. I've seen some really positive reviews, like the ones Jeremy Johns made, or the one what's his name? Uh, Tyrone Magnus. Chris Duckman gave it an A minus, and some others gave it a 7. And Taylor J. Williams made an entire, I don't know, 17-minute long video just talking about the flaws. And Adam of Your Movie Sucks gave it a 5 out of 10. But Spectrum Pulse, who usually reviews music, gave this movie an 8 out of 10, a light 8, he says, and I guess that's a good thing, but not necessarily all that great or anything. So I guess, yes, the movie has mixed reviews because it's not like anything the viewers had expected. There are movies where I can just give the score, like the movie that I just watched recently, Nightcrawler. I watched it. Yep, it's a 9.0, and I'm really sure about that. But for this movie, my enjoyment levels and the actual quality of the movie sort of fluctuates a little bit, especially the quality. So the movie starts off with Clint's family in the middle of the snap. After the snap happened, Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, was with his family, and he was in house arrest. He was on house arrest because of the events of Civil War, and he was in this in the middle of like an empty grassland or something with his kids and with his wife, and all of a sudden they all disappeared, and he was really bitter about it. And then we slowly get the intro, the title card for Marvel, and it's a really somber and depressing beginning, and I actually really like it because it just immediately hooks your attention. But then in the title card, happy music, well, more like uplifting music starts to play, and it's like maybe a little too soon, but hey, that's only a minor flaw. Anyway, the uplifting music comes from another scene where Iron Man and Nebula were playing in a spaceship, and they had been on that spaceship for 22 days already. It's kind of sad because they were gonna run out of oxygen, but I was like, hey, it's only 22 days, right? It's not like that bad. So, yeah, it's still really depressing, and I really like the interaction scenes between Iron Man and Nebula because this is like the least likely pair to come together, and I really enjoy that. And then after that, Captain Marvel suddenly shows up out of nowhere in the middle of fucking space and carries the spaceship back to the Avengers headquarters. And I kind of have problems with that because not only is Captain Marvel too overpowered, it doesn't feel like a you know a, a reasonable thing because how would Captain Marvel locate Iron Man, or more specifically, locate Nebula's spaceship, whom Iron Man was on? Second of all, it just feels like sort of this lazy way for the two parties to connect. Originally, in Infinity War, I was really, really excited about just these two parties going together. The Captain America team and Iron Man and Nebula just going together and have this big, major reconciliation. That's kind of ruined by the existence of Captain Marvel. And also, Captain Marvel in this movie in general, she's still really arrogant. And luckily, she isn't in this movie much, so there's an upside. So yeah, if I were the Russo brothers, maybe I would actually put Pepper Potts in the rescue bot to fly up and save Iron Man, because maybe Pepper Potts know Iron Man's location, because maybe Iron Man has like a space, like a universal GPS on him, and maybe Pepper Potts save him. And if that really became true in the movie, that would be an astonishing way to open the movie. And anyway, so they meet together, and Tony Stark told Captain America, "I've lost that kid." And when he said that, my eyes got wet a little bit because I remembered how painful and cataclysmic and destructive the ending of Infinity War was, and I remembered just Peter Parker going away, and it's just really, really sad in my opinion. And yeah, anyway, they went into the Avengers headquarters, they had chat, and they realized that there is literally no way to get back all half of the universe unless they go back to Thanos, grab the 5 stones, snap the fingers again, and make everything go back together. So there we go, we have the mission, right? Nebula says that, oh hey, Thanos is in the garden, and turns out he really was in the garden, and he was, in like a very peaceful state, I guess. Nobody was guarding him, he was alone. And then the Avengers went there, of course, and the stones were gone. Thanos destroyed the stones with the stones, and it's all gone. The Avengers have failed. Thanos had won, and Thor was really pissed off about it, and he chopped off Thanos' head. And that's basically it. And yeah, this scene itself really defies our expectation. We all thought that, Avengers are gonna fight so hard to get back the 5 stones, and there will be another battle, it's gonna be crazy. But no, Thanos dies. Not even halfway through the first act. And I really like that. And then we are being hit with 5 years later, and damn, that hit hard. That really hit hard. That really hurts as well. We see Steve Rogers in like a therapy, circle thing, and they sort of chatted. Joe Russo actually made a cameo here. That's pretty awesome. We have a rat climbing over some abandoned vehicles, and he climbed over the Ant-Man van, accidentally pressed a button, and made and released Ant-Man from the quantum realm, essentially. And yeah, the rat basically saved the entire universe. That's actually kind of insane. So Ant-Man went out of the quantum realm and he realized that everything was different. And you know what? I have an idea. What if the movie starts off with Ant-Man going out of quantum realm and realizing that everything's different now? It would be pretty hard hitting, not gonna lie. However, Infinity War is a thing, so maybe that wouldn't be the best choice of opening scenes. Anyway, yeah, it's really depressing. He walked around and he realized that half the world vanished. He tried to find Cassie Lang on the Vanished Memorial Place. He couldn't find her, so she's alive, so that's a great thing. And when Scott Lang arrived at the front door of his own house with Cassie, that scene was really emotional as well because Cassie was way older now. And I just can't imagine how emotionally overwhelming that must be for Cassie. So that's another really nice emotional scene. And then Ant-Man looks for the Avengers and tells them about time travel and that they can go back 5 years ago, take back the stones, snap the fingers, and that's it. However, they can't go back to when Thanos was born and kill him because that would set off an entire domino effect of events that would probably mess up the present day a lot. I guess a smarter but a riskier choice would be to stop Thanos before he acquires all 6 of the stones right before it happens, but that also means that Infinity War has to happen all over again, so of course the writers won't do that. Instead, because this is the epic finale of the first era of MCU, the writers, the Russo brothers, decided to bring us all back down a memory lane to visit some of our favorite MCU movies again, including Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers 1, which is amazing, including Thor, The Dark World, I think, or was it the first Thor? And then we also visit Iron Man in his new residence, and damn, a lot has changed. He has a daughter now, and he's living a great life with Pepper Potts. And the Avengers came and told him that, they wanted to time travel, and Tony Stark was like, nope, that's too much to risk. That's actually kind of ironic because at the end of the movie, Tony Stark sacrificed himself and saved the entire universe. And that's basically the exact opposite of what he said, and that really makes Tony Stark's character even better. After Tony Stark figured out that time travel actually works, the Avengers, they recruited Hulk again, they found Thor again, and they also found Hawkeye. And oh my gosh, a lot has changed. A lot has changed. Hulk, instead of being very grim, depressed, with short hair, eye patch, he's like a totally different person. He's fat, he's really buff still, he drinks a lot of beer, long hair, and he's just so comedic and uplifting, and he doesn't care about the world anymore. And I'm glad that Taika Waititi also made a cameo here, and he plays Fortnite, but like five years later, I don't think Fortnite would be relevant anymore. I mean, right now Fortnite isn't even relevant anymore. It's Apex Legends. Actually, I correct that. I don't think Apex Legends is relevant anymore. Maybe there's a new game being developed here, but whatever. Anyway, I'm actually not that pissed off about Thor's character twist. I think Thor's new character trait is actually giving the movie way more brightness. And then we also have Hulk, who somehow merged himself with the Hulk. So now he's both himself, but with Hulk's body, equally as strong. So it's the brains and the brawls mixed together. And you can't find it in the poster. You can't find anything in the poster. Even Captain Marvel changed. She cut her hair short, and it's different from the poster. And, Marvel is really good at keeping secrets. And they also found Hawkeye again, and Hawkeye is actually now sort of this assassin in Japan, and he's really badass. I really like Hawkeye in this movie, and Black Widow found him, and that's basically Act 1. We also get a lot of scenes where the remaining Avengers after Infinity War, the Captain America team, they try to figure out time travel. I feel like these scenes are the scenes where they can cut short, where they can just trim the fat off. Maybe cut off some scenes in Act 1 and leave a little bit more in Act 2 to make Act 2 a little less messy and with less plot holes, basically, and maybe make Act 3 even more complex and a little more twisty-turny. Quite a number of scenes can be cut short, like the scenes where Ant-Man becomes like a baby or something. That scene can be cut short. Anyway, we have Act 2 where they actually go back in time and try to get the 6 Infinity Stones, which is already a bit paradoxical. It means that if they get the Infinity Stones, they have to bring it back to present day and somehow keep the timeline intact, so they have to bring those stones back. Anyway, Rocket Raccoon and Thor went back to Asgard during the events of Thor 1 or 2, I forgot, and they tried to get back Reality Stone. And I'm really glad that Thor and his mother can reunite again and they can talk, and I'm actually really glad that his mom realized that he's from the future. It's really heartwarming, and also Natalie Portman is in the movie as well, 2-second cameo. Only an MCU movie can show 1 second of Samuel L. Jackson and 2 seconds of Natalie Portman without getting any complaints about it. Anyway, the whole Rocket Raccoon and Thor storyline is, nothing goes wrong. Pretty successful, pretty nice, and Thor also got back his hammer. Also, one thing, he got back his hammer, but after the events of Endgame, he doesn't return it. So, anyway, in the planet of Morag, Nebula and War Machine arrives to get the Power Stone, which means Star-Lord is not gonna get it, and it will probably alter the story a little bit more, maybe. But what alters this timeline even more is that Thanos learns about future Nebula going in, because future Nebula and past Nebula was somehow mentally connected, and, Thanos could, Nebula would project, like, memories, and Thanos would see it, and now Thanos saw it, and after Nebula and War Machine acquired the Power Stone, Nebula wanted to, I guess, warn War Machine that Thanos knows, and that is a dumb move. Had she not done that, like, Act 3 wouldn't have happened. Hawkeye and Black Widow went to Vormir to get the Soul Stone, and yes, that also means that a sacrifice had to be made, and, I kind of saw it coming. Like, when they arrived, I was like, oh wait, they have to sacrifice someone, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want both of them to die. Like the Russo brothers, they have to put the most, I guess, equal characters together and make this thing happen. And yeah, that sucks. Ross Marquand was in the movie, and he also had a cameo, so that's pretty cool. But damn, when Hawkeye jumped, I was like, oh wait, is Hawkeye gonna do it? And then Black Widow jumped, catches Hawkeye, puts him on top of herself so that she could drop herself. And that happened. I cried. I teared up. I didn't anticipate myself to actually cry up about it, because we've seen a scene similar before in Infinity War. I guess the messiest part was in New York. Hulk tries to get the Time Stone by negotiating with the Ancient One. I'm glad Tilda Swinton made it into the movie as well. And I'm also kind of glad that Mark Ruffalo get to play his character without wearing the man-canceling suit all the time, but only for one scene, on the rooftop. Yeah, anyway, nothing goes wrong. Hulk tells the Ancient One about Infinity War, and Ancient One gives him the Time Stone. However, one plot hole would be that if Hulk told the Ancient One that Dr. Strange would give up the Time Stone to Thanos, would that affect the Ancient One's decision to choose Doctor Strange? And anyway, other than that, Iron Man and Ant-Man tries to get back the Tesseract, aka the Space Stone, and Avengers 1 just finished, okay? And they try to get back the Tesseract because the Tesseract was originally in Loki's hand, and then the Avengers took it, and things go a little wrong, and Loki got the Tesseract and escaped. So now that's another big plot hole, because if Loki escaped, a lot of things could happen. I guess the most plausible reason would be that after Loki escaped, there will be one more act to the new Avengers 1, and the Avengers would still succeed. But, yeah, that's like a bold assumption, I guess. Or should I say presumption. Anyway, Captain America tries to get the Mind Stone, which is in Loki's scepter, and things also go wrong. Hydra gets the scepter, and S.H.I.E.L.D. in Hydra's disguise, and when Captain America whispered, "Hail Hydra," that was actually a really smart and funny scene. It also, like, this scene is also similar to that scene in Winter Soldier that I really love. But anyway, get back to the scene. Really smartly written, not gonna lie. After that, after Captain America acquires the scepter, he and the past Captain America fights. And man, I didn't expect this fight to happen. And it was an entertaining fight, not gonna lie. A superhero fighting himself. It's pretty fantastic, pretty entertaining, not gonna lie. And at the end, when Captain America yelled, "Bucky was alive," at old Captain America, would that affect the events of Winter Soldier? I don't know, but hopefully not. Anyway, because Iron Man and Ant-Man lost the Tesseract, they have to go back further in time to get it back. They went back to 1970, and that's how Tony Stark got a chance to meet his own father. And another really smartly written choice, to be honest. I'm really glad that Tony Stark could meet his father before he actually dies. And also Captain America meeting Peggy again through some window blinds. That's also really amazing. And Stan Lee's cameo, actually a really fitting last cameo for him, rest in peace, because he's in a car and he's in his young self again, his young look, and he yells about love, no war. And that's actually pretty awesome. Not gonna lie, an awesome last line for Stan Lee. Also, we get a glimpse of Jarvis, the real life character, and that's also a pretty nice cameo, not gonna lie. Other than that, they all went back to the present day, and it's actually, Act 2 is actually really interesting, also really entertaining, but I guess there are just a few plot holes that I'm not too happy about. Maybe they could fix them up by justifying them later on in the story. If only they would have trimmed some of the fat off of Act 1 and place some of those empty scenes into Act 2 in order to justify those holes. And yeah, but still very entertaining, very interesting indeed, and some of the most fun fights happened. Actually, just one fight, and that's the present and the past Captain America. And I guess that's also one of the issues of the movie, is that Act 2 is not really that action-packed. It's more cognitive than it is violent or graphic. And I guess the movie should probably, make a more clear climax to Act 2, and probably add more to Act 2, maybe. Also, I wish that Act 3 would be a little bit more prolonged, so that the snapped characters would return earlier, and then Thanos would come a little later. So not only will we have a little more character interaction moments, but also more in-depth fights. Okay, now here's the catch. When Nebula and War Machine went back to Morag to get the Power Stone, they succeeded. Right? Wrong. War Machine got back the Power Stone and went back to the future, but Nebula didn't. He got sucked up by the Thanos spaceship and was held as prisoner. And then the past Nebula switched, I guess, a plate on her head with the new Nebula so that she could pretend to be, well, not the new Nebula, so that the past Nebula can pretend to be the present Nebula and go back to the future and fool all the present Avengers, and then bring Thanos to the future to attack the Avengers and reset the whole thing, I guess. Actually, if Thanos would have succeeded doing that, if Thanos and Nebula from the past succeeded doing that, that would almost mean that Thanos acquires all the stones, but without all the things happening in between. So that's actually kind of crazy. Anyway, the past Nebula arrives in the future. At the same time, we also have a really sad scene where the new Avengers, the present-day Avengers, talk about Black Widow's death. Immediately after that, Hulk wears the glove and tries to snap the fingers. And it's a great sacrifice. I mean, he was all burnt up and all that. It was gamma ray radiation apparently. So that gamma ray radiation is actually really deadly. Like, it kills almost instantly. So he does that. It hurts. He screams. And it worked. Half of the world came back, and it was really, really happy and bright. And then Thanos came, and then the past Nebula opened up the portal so that Thanos' ship could come, and Thanos just sent bombs, just huge bombs, just firing down at the Avengers headquarters in high speed, one and another, and again, and another, and again, and another, and the whole thing blew up like a massive explosion. The whole thing is blown to pieces. It's all concrete and gravel, and in fact, Hulk and Falcon, I think, no, Falcon didn't come back yet. Hulk and War Machine, and I guess Rocket Raccoon, they almost drowned, but yeah, Ant-Man saved them by going big. Also, another thing in the movie would be that if Ant-Man goes big for too long of a time, he's gonna get tired really fast. So, I mean, he shouldn't be big for a long time. Anyway, shit gets real. Thanos returns. Thanos was sitting there all of a sudden, and Thanos wanted the 6 Infinity Stones. So we have an epic, an absolutely intense, and of course epic 3v1 between Captain America, Iron Man, Thor versus Thanos. The 3 main characters versus Thanos, and it gets really intense. Thor was almost killed. Thor was almost killed with his own Stormbreaker axe, until all of a sudden, Thor's hammer hit Thanos in the head. Why? Because Captain America thrown it. Captain America was holding the hammer, and he was wielding it. Whoa! And that scene was it just brings goosebumps. It was redeeming, and I mean, in some sense, it's almost like the Russo brothers were like, Captain America, like, he's not cool enough, like, we need to make him cooler. But at the same time, it's a really rewarding moment for MCU fans and for Captain America himself, because he's powerful and he's actually worthy. Most important of all, he's worthy. And that's just a really great scene. And then we have a scene where, it was just Captain America himself versus Thanos. Thanos kept hacking him, and his shield was breaking, and it's almost broken in half, and he's almost dead, but he still stands up, and the entire Thanos army arrived. Like, it's gigantic, like an absolutely huge army, like Lord of the Rings size army. There were these flying metallic things. There were a lot of ships on the sky, a lot of army and animals, and it's just the worst army you will ever see in MCU. And it's just Captain America versus basically the entire world at this point. And then all of a sudden, there were portals opening up here and there, here and there. There were just these golden circles on the sky, and I was like, wait, they're here. And oh my gosh, it's so overwhelming, so damn overwhelming. Also, at the same time, Nebula killed himself because the present day Nebula killed the past Nebula, so she basically just took herself out of existence. But in the movie, the present day Nebula didn't just fade away, so I guess that's one problem. But anyway, back to the epic battle. Oh my gosh, that one scene, that one half an hour long scene, is the single greatest MCU scene ever, period, because it's just everyone has arrived. I guess it's kind of sad that I couldn't see a Hulk versus Thanos 1v1. Also kind of sad that I couldn't see more of M'Baku, Winston Duke. He's kind of left out a little bit. And also Lupita Nyong'o should be in here somewhere, but I couldn't find her anywhere. Also in the movie, Jude Law, Lawrence Fishburne, Martin Freeman, Anthony Hopkins don't show up. And also, again, Samuel L. Jackson only got 1 second of screen time. But yeah, other than that, epic battle scene. Again, similar to Infinity War, we got an all-women scene where it's all just women. And again, Captain Marvel comes out in the middle of nowhere, out of the blue, destroying an entire spaceship single-handedly. And yeah, again, too overpowered, but still, pretty nice moment. Not gonna lie, pretty nice comeback moment. And then after that, we got Captain Marvel, Captain America, Iron Man, and everyone else just trying to get the glove out of Thanos' hands and pass it around. It's like the Avengers are just passing the gloves around over and over and over. And then at the end, Thanos really wore it, and it's like, oh my gosh, you can't do it. No way, right? No damn way. Tony Stark comes in, tries to take it. Thanos flings him away. Thanos snaps. Wait. It's the wrong glove. Tony Stark has the real glove. Tony Stark had all the 6 Infinity Stones here. And he said, I am Iron Man. The whole thing. All of the people who worked for Thanos all turned to dust and died. And that is shocking, but I wasn't crying yet. I then cried when I saw Tony Stark basically paralyzed, and the last thing he said was actually Pepper Potts' name. That's just really sad. I legit cried. I legit, cried. I kind of cried. Tears streaming down from my face to the neck. Man, Tony Stark is my single favorite character of MCU, and seeing him die, especially in front of Peter Parker, is just, it's crushing. It's really heart crushing. And I also couldn't see it at all, because by the end of Infinity War, Iron Man almost died, and Captain America was still fine. And I thought, you know what, this time Captain America is in big trouble, and he will probably die, and maybe Tony Stark we're gonna spare his life and he's gonna live with his family, but no. Nope. That's it. Anyway, in the funeral, everyone wore black. Everyone came, and the Garage Boy was also there. That's really, really sad. The Garage Boy in Iron Man 3. And and then after that, we still have a few scenes, a few aftermath scenes where Thor sort of gives the crown of New Asgard to Valkyrie. Also, I realized in the movie that Tessa Thompson was doing a British accent the whole time, or was I just being forgetful? But yeah, anyway, it's really sad. And at the very, very, very end, Captain America, with his time travel suit, goes back in time, returns the 6 Infinity Stones, and when Hulk wants to bring him back, he can't. And all of a sudden, in the side, it's Captain America, but way, way older. And Falcon went up to him, and Captain America was like, "Yep, I tried out what Tony Stark told me to do, and I want to hand this shield to you because you will be the next Captain America. I'm passing the torch to you." That's pretty emotional, and I'm really, really happy that Captain America has a happy ending. But I have questions. First of all, doesn't Captain America age? Does Captain America not age because of the serum thing? Like it's like he doesn't age, right? He doesn't age. Bucky doesn't age. I mean, Bucky dies, but again, he has the serum, so he doesn't age. And Black Widow also doesn't age. Like, isn't that like a thing? Why is he aged now? Also, even though he looks old, maybe he's still just as strong because, again, the serum that he took in Captain America 1. But yeah, anyway, I'm still glad that, you know what, Captain America, he's had enough of this. He's retiring. And really emotional. And at the very, very, very end, we see him in a house dancing with Peggy. And it's a really beautiful way to end the movie. Really poetic as well. A lot of fans actually predicted that this would be the ending and this would be absolutely beautiful. And in my opinion, it's indeed truly absolutely beautiful. And you shout out to the Russo brothers for writing this really beautiful, epic, ultimate finale to the first era of MCU. A few characters didn't show up, and I really wish they would show up, like Anthony Hopkins. It would be great if he would show up a little bit. Also, Martin Freeman. It would be great if Martin Freeman and Benedict Cumberbatch goes together and Benedict says something like, "Have I seen you before?" Or if Jude Law and, Robert Downey Jr. is in the same scene, they could also do the same thing. We literally have two pairs of Holmes and Watson in the MCU. Also, if there's a scene where Lawrence Fishburne and Samuel L. Jackson comes together, like, is it just me, or do you two look the same? Like, that scene would also be funny. And yeah, I'm not against fan service. Maybe there's a little too much in the movie, like the scenes about America's ass, or the scenes where Ant-Man becomes a baby and time travel goes wrong. Those scenes can be cut out and can give a little more time for some more characters and some more explanation and some more twists and turns as well. I really hope that Act 3 is a little bit more unpredictable, more like the Battle of Helm's Deep, because it's the single greatest battle in movie history ever. The Battle of Helm's Deep has like many different sections, and one section goes up like, oh, it's gonna be great, and one section goes down, oh my gosh, something's going wrong, something's going down, man. So it's this crazy twist and turn insanity, and I kind of wish that the final battle is like that, but still, I still love the final battle a lot. I enjoy it a lot. I just really hope that they would trim out the fat a little bit. But yeah, still, absolutely love this movie. Could potentially be my favorite MCU movie ever. I know this video is already long enough. I'm giving Avengers Endgame an 8 to a 9 out of 10 still. And what are your thoughts on Avengers Endgame from 1 to 10? How much did you rate it? Like if you like it, hate if you hate it, and subscribe if you want more.